Hill and the fireworks and chaos yesterday. Lawmakers questioning Hunter Biden's former business associates on Capitol Hill for the majority of the day. Take a listen.
I want to be crystal clear. From my direct personal experience and what I've subsequently come to learn, it is clear to me that Joe Biden was the brand being sold by the Biden family. And if there's no evidence of corruption here today, if Joe's conduct and the conduct of his family were fully legal and proper, then why are they so dishonest about it?
Mr. Bobulinski, who's the big guy?
Joe Biden.
Are you sure about that? Because when
Jordan, Joe Biden.
You're sure?
I'm 1,000% sure.
All right, for more on this, let's welcome in Wisconsin Congressman Scott Fitzgerald. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us this morning. So do you believe there's been enough evidence uncovered now to move forward and bring this impeachment to a vote on the House floor?
I do. There was kind of gavel to gavel. Everyone up here on the Hill was watching the Oversight Committee as they operated, with judiciary having kind of a different level of insight, I think, even than what you saw publicly yesterday. I certainly still believe that I'm convinced that there's enough there to impeach.
Do you have enough to actually pass this on the floor? Because I think holding a hearing like we saw yesterday and like we've seen over the last year and a half, it's a positive in that it continues to keep this fresh in the minds of Americans, that maybe the Biden family isn't on the level. They can decide for themselves. But I'm not convinced you have the votes on the floor. Kevin McCarthy abandoned you. Ken Buck left last week. George Santos was ousted. Do you have the votes on the floor? And wouldn't that be embarrassing if you brought it to the floor for a vote and it didn't pass?
Well, it would be. I think the problem we have right now is we're literally trying to operate with a 2-seat majority. So even if you brought something to the floor at the level of impeachment, you would still obviously have to convince each and every member, and that's going to be very difficult for the speaker to do. So although what I will say is, some of the stuff that came out of Oversight, again, are like loose threads. Once you start to pull on them, there are more opportunities to kind of go deeper and deeper. And I think that's what Congressman Comer was alluding to yesterday, that there are some of these questions that can only be answered by the President of the United States himself, and which is why I think he's kind of shooting for the top shelf now and saying we need to get the president in front of the Oversight Committee. Yeah. Now, the likelihood of that, I'm not convinced they wouldn't be able to figure a way out of that. But I think you can hear the level of frustration in Congressman Comer's voice about this topic.
Yeah, one of the more interesting points in the 8 hours yesterday was AOC attempting to grill Bobulinski on what crimes Biden is actually guilty of. Take a listen to this.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is the crime, sir? Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category.
Well, it's funny. In this committee room, everyone's not here. There's over 18
All right, sir, I reclaim my
lawyers
time.
that went to law school.
I reclaim my time.
You guys
okay, thank you, sir. I reclaim my time.
Whew, getting fiery there. What'd you make of that, Congressman?
Well, I think if you start to tick off what we all know what was going down, it was straight up shakedowns that were happening. I listened to 3 hours of Hunter Biden kind of dance around the idea that when he would in fact have a discussion with an unofficial or official kind of representative of another government, not only alluding but simply absolutely telling them, unless I get the cash moved into my account, right, certain things are not going to happen that you're expecting from the U.S. government. I don't know how you can describe that as anything else except extortion.
Yeah. And look, Democrats say that what Republicans are doing is election interference, but Republicans feel the same way about all of these different Trump legal cases that the presumptive nominee is dealing with right now. And to me, even if you don't have the votes, by continuing to hold these hearings, you're keeping this fresh in the minds of the American people. And again, they can decide for themselves. But James Comer yesterday said that Joe Biden could be next. I don't know if he's going to invite him like he did with Hunter Biden, or does that mean maybe a subpoena for the sitting president to come and appear before Oversight or Judiciary?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that you can really kind of put your fingers on and say, you know, this is something that absolutely happened and he needs to talk about it, is the Burisma. When he's publicly bragging about it and then backtracking on it through the committee to come up with the details related to that whole scene, that is something very specific that I think if you ask the President of the United States and he denied under oath, that they absolutely could impeach him. And quite honestly, if it was referred to DOJ, which is another kind of avenue that's being explored right now, there's enough evidence there that anyone else in government would be certainly arraigned and charged, I'm sure.
That's interesting.
So I think that is something that's coming, and it's coming soon.
Yeah, maybe you're saying criminal referrals, just to be clear.
Absolutely. Criminal referrals to DOJ.
All right. I appreciate the specifics this morning, Congressman Scott Fitzgerald. Good to see you. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
It was a circus yesterday on Capitol Hill. And Jared Moskowitz, tallest guy in the House, wearing a Vladimir Putin mask. More on that in just a second. But first, I want to